It's Wednesday. Welcome to our Wednesday Wellness Tip. Today's spiritual tip was inspired by a talk I heard recently by Lavina Wilkins. In her talk, she referenced a book by Paul Hasselbeck that was called Heart-Centered Metaphysics. And she talked about 4 levels of consciousness. The first level is victim consciousness. And this means that we go through life and think everything happens to us, that we are powerless, we have no control over anything. Sometimes we get upset because the weather or because the traffic, and we just feel like we have no control over anything. That's victim consciousness. The second level is victor consciousness. And this is a little more elevated, and with victor consciousness, we understand that everything happens by me. In other words, whatever thoughts I put out, that's the vibration I'm attracting back to myself. So that's the victor consciousness. And now we understand that when things happen, we have a responsibility. In other words, the ability to respond positively, negatively, or however we choose to respond. But we have the responsibility to react, and that makes this victor consciousness by me. The third level of consciousness is vessel consciousness. And again, it's elevated a little higher because here we understand that when things happen, it happens through us. In other words, many times God or the universe uses us to manifest things through us. And in this instance, we become an advocate because even though we live through circumstances or we make choices that we may not would have made in other circumstances, we learn from that. And then we can help others, and we become a vessel so that consciousness happens through us. And the fourth level of consciousness is called verity consciousness. And verity consciousness describes that level of consciousness of the oneness, where we dissolve our separateness, we dissolve our ego, and realize that we are all one consciousness. And that regardless, we are creating our world in that oneness. So what if we could each get to that oneness and realize that we are here as part of each other to help each other and to create a world that we love? Many people describe this verity consciousness as love itself, love manifest. So wouldn't it be awesome if we could create a world of love, joy, and peace? So those are the 4 levels of consciousness. And take some time to reflect on it and see what your natural tendency is, and maybe you can elevate, and maybe you can see how you could make a different choice in those 4 levels of consciousness. That's our spiritual tip for today.